My name is Evelyn May Carter, a 67-year-old retired nurse from Oakland, California. I was sitting at my kitchen table late on a Sunday night, folding the last of the travel shirts I bought for my grandchildren, when my phone buzzed with a message that cracked something inside me. It was from my only son. Derek, asterisk, I share new life stories here every day, and I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Now let's jump back into my story. I sure you love it if you keep listening till the end. Hey, Mom, you won't be joining us. Alicia prefers the trip to be just her family. It's simpler. But thanks for paying for everything. I reread it 3 times before the sting truly landed. The clock on the stove flashed 11:04 p.m. The house was still. It's the kind of still that feels like it's listening to you fall apart quietly. My reading glasses slid down the bridge of my nose as I stared at the message. Derek didn't call. He didn't explain. He didn't soften the blow. He simply dismissed me from a trip I had planned and paid for entirely. I looked down at my hands, still sticky from packing small snack bags for the grandchildren, still wrinkled from washing the new beach towels I bought on sale. I had labeled everything with colorful tags. Zoe, Mason, Bella. I imagined them pulling the bags open on the plane, their little faces lighting up. But now I realized they wouldn't even see me there, not because I chose not to come, but because I had been removed. Quietly and confidently, like I was a piece of lint on their perfect picture. I leaned back in my chair, letting the shadows of the kitchen swallow me. I felt the kind of shame that comes not from guilt, but from giving too much to people who don't value it. I thought back to the last few years. Alicia had slowly been drawing invisible lines around Derek's lifelines I was not meant to cross. At Christmas, she corrected every story I shared. At Thanksgiving, she said she already had enough help and didn't need me bringing dishes anymore. At the kids' birthdays, I was introduced as if I were a distant aunt. Not the woman who raised their father alone after his dad died, but still. I believe this family trip would reset all the broken pieces. Hawaii meant something to Emmett, was where my late husband and I spent our first anniversary, young and broke but happy. I wanted to give Derek that same memory with his children. I thought love would be enough. Clearly, it wasn't. The phone buzzed again. Don't take it personal. Mom, you've already done your part by paying. He didn't see me as a mother. He saw me as a purse with a pulse. I let the phone fall face down onto the table. My eyes drifted to the small duffel bag I had packed for myself, 2 bright sundresses, a lavender candle for a memorial moment, and a framed picture of my husband, Leonard, smiling in the Hawaiian sun. I had planned to set it on the beach during a family dinner, letting the kids say something sweet about the grandfather they never met. But apparently, their mother had decided I had no place in that picture. I stood slowly, walked to my desk, and woke up my old laptop. The screen flickered on, and I opened the online portal for the travel fund account. The one I had built penny by penny since my retirement. $19,502. 17 my savings. My sacrifices. My dream. The freeze account button glowed on the screen. I didn't click it. Not yet. Instead, I opened a blank document and began typing a list. Not a list of apologies I hoped to receive. Not a list of ways to fix this. A list of women who had been overlooked. Women who had poured out love with nothing returned. Women like me. I took a deep breath. My heart didn't feel broken anymore, just awake. Asterisk, the morning after Derek's message arrived. I woke up long before the sun. Not because I had somewhere to be, but because my heart wouldn't let me rest. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying his words again and again. You've already done your part by paying. Alicia wants it, just her family. I wasn't part of her family. And now, apparently, I wasn't part of my son's either. I got up and walked through the quiet house, touching familiar things as I passed. The photo of Leonard and me laughing on the beach. The collection of magnets from all the places I dreamed of taking my grandchildren. The ceramic bowl Derek made in 3rd grade Naven lopsided, filled with the pens I never used. I reached the kitchen and stared at the leftover packing supplies still scattered on the table. colorful stickers, sunscreen bottles, travel snacks. Little reminders of the grandmother I had tried so hard to be. A grandmother they didn't want. Around noon, my email chimed. It was from the travel agency. Final itinerary attached. My stomach tightened. I clicked the file open. 8 names. Not 9. I zoomed in, scrolling slowly, hoping my eyes were failing me. Alicia Johnson, Derek Johnson, Zoe Johnson, Mason Johnson, Tina Harris, Alicia's mother. Dave Harris, stepfather Sierra Johnson, Alicia's cousin. Marcus Reed, Sierra's boyfriend, not a single mention of Evelyn May Carter. They didn't forget me. They planned around me. I closed the laptop quietly, as if the sound might break something fragile inside me. But it was already broken. Later that afternoon, my phone rang. Not Derek. Not even one of the kids. It was her. "Hi, Evelyn." Alicia chirped in that voice she uses when she's pretending everything is perfectly normal. "Just wanted to check in before we head out tomorrow. Did the last payment go through? I think the final deduction is scheduled tonight." Even the word deduction made my jaw tighten. "Yes," I said simply, because I wasn't ready to reveal what I knew. She hesitated. "Oh, and don't worry about bringing anything for the kids. We've got everything covered this time." As if I ever asked her for permission to show love. "I see," I said calmly. Not angry, not emotional, just clear. She continued rambling about sunscreen brands, mother's knee brace, flight snacks, and how excited they all were. How excited they all were to take the trip that I saved every penny for. Without me, when she finally hung up. The silence left behind felt heavier than her voice. I walked to the small fireproof safe in my closet and took out the papers from the travel fund. Account ownership, contract copies, authorization codes. All of them with one name. Evelyn May Carter. No consigners. No shared access. No entitled daughter-in-law with sticky fingers. I sat down on the edge of my bed, opened my phone, and pulled up the bank app. My thumb hovered over the button I had been avoiding. Freeze account, pause, all linked transactions. I didn't press it. Not yet. I needed to be absolutely sure, so I sent. Derek, a simple text. 1. Last chance for him to see me. Let me know if you need any help packing the kids' things. I can bring motion sickness bands for Zoe if she needs them. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Then the message was marked as read. But there was no reply. Not even a thumbs up. I looked at the screen until my eyes blurred. Then I opened the travel fund settings again. This time, a hand didn't shake. Click. The screen updated instantly. Freeze mode activated. All outgoing payments paused. I let out a long breath. It wasn't vengeance. It was clarity, the kind that only comes when you finally understand your worth. They think they're heading to paradise, but paradise won't let them in without me. The next morning, I woke up before dawn. Not from nerves, not from guilt. From peace, a strange, quiet peace that filled my chest the moment I remembered what I'd done. The account was frozen. Every card linked to the trip was dead in the water. I made myself a cup of ginger tea and sat near the window Leonard used to call the sunrise chair. The neighborhood was still asleep, but I could practically feel the ripple of what would come. At 7:52 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification. Instagram, Alicia Johnson posted a new photo. I opened it. There they wait, people squeezed into the back of an Uber headed for Lax, matching coral-colored shirts. Smiling kids. Alicia flashing a peace sign. Caption, "Off to paradise, family only." Those 2 words, family only, cut like the edge of a seashell you never saw coming. I didn't react. Didn't comment. Didn't like it. Some storms don't need thunder to be powerful. Around 8:20 a.m., my phone began vibrating again. This time, a text from Derek. "Hey, Mom. Weird thing happening at check-in. The card you used for the flights is being declined. Can you check the account?" I took a slow sip of tea. 5 minutes passed. Then another text. "Mom. Then we can't get the rental car either. The card keeps saying insufficient funds or locked. Did you change something? Oh, baby. I didn't change something. I changed everything. I kept the phone face down at 8:31 a.m. So the first call came through. I didn't answer DOT at 8:36 the second. Still no dot by 8:42. She was calling back to back like a man trying to stop a door from closing on his foot. Voicemail. After voicemail rolled in, Mom, please answer, this doesn't make sense. Can you call the bank real quick? Alicia's parents are getting irritated. Help me out here. Still, I didn't move. The calls kept coming as I folded a load of laundry, wiped down my counters, and watered my plants. Meanwhile, their world was unraveling at gate B12. At 9:05 a.m. Alicia tried calling. Her ringtone filled the kitchen like a mosquito I refused to swat. 4 times she called. 4 times I let it ring. At 9:22. A new email popped in from the resort. Dear Ms. Carter, the cancellation of your villa booking is confirmed. Refund has been issued per your freeze authorization. Refunded, reversed, returned. All mine again. My throat tightened, not in sadness, but in release. Like unclenching a fist you didn't realize you'd been holding for years. At 9:41 a.m., Garrick sent another message. Mom, if this is about the text we sent, I'm sorry. I don't know. Everything's chaos here. Please unlock the account. Chaos? A word they never thought I could create. I didn't answer. I simply opened the window and let the warm breeze brush my face. For once, the air felt soft. For once, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix everyone else's mess. By 10:10 a.m., I had 33 missed calls. By 10:38 a.m., 46. At 10:45 a.m., their scheduled departure time, I imagined them sitting on the plane, angry, confused, exhausted, with nowhere to stay, nothing paid for, and no access to the trip they felt entitled to enjoy on my back. While they waited for answers, I waited for something else. My refund confirmation emails. By noon, they all came in one by one. I sat down, folded my hands, and whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude. Not for revenge, for freedom. They think the worst is over. But the bill for disrespect hasn't even arrived yet. Asterisk by the time evening settled over my quiet neighborhood. The calls had finally stopped. Not because Derek understood, not because Alicia humbled herself, but because the airlines had already closed their gates and the reality could no longer be delayed. They had arrived in Hawaii with smiles and matching shirts, but arrived into nothing. No rental car, no villa, no prepaid excursions, no oceanfront welcome basket. Nothing but heat, confusion, and the weight of their own entitlement. Meanwhile, back home, my phone remained silent on the kitchen table, face down like a stone dropped into still water just before sunset. The email I'd been waiting for pinged into my inbox. Your refund has been completed. I opened the message. Airline fees. Villa deposit. Luau package. Private chef night. Snorkeling excursion. Lake greeting service. All the money I'd spent on love returned to me in neat lines and tidy numbers. For the first time in years, I felt like something in my life had been returned to me, not as charity, not as duty, but as justice. I closed the laptop gently, as if sealing a chapter. Then I slipped on my light sweater, grabbed my keys, and took a slow walk through the neighborhood. The jasmine bushes on Maple Street were in bloom, sending sweetness into the air. A few neighbors waved. One asked if I was traveling for spring break. I smiled softly. Not today, I said, but soon. When I returned home, there were 3 new voicemails from Derek. The tone was drastically different now. Less demanding. Less certain. Less proud. I played the first one, Mom. I'm sorry, things got weird. We're trying to fix everything here. The kids are tired. Just call me. It's the second one. I didn't mean what I said in the text. I was stressed. You know how Alicia gets? I didn't want to fight. The third message dragged in a shaky breath before the words came out. Mom, please. We used the last of our savings booking new rooms. Everything's crazy expensive here. I shouldn't have sent that message. Just call me back, please. Few months ago, that might have broken me. A year ago, it certainly would have. But tonight, it washed over me like water over a stone. Because once you finally see the truth, you can't unsee it. They weren't apologizing for what they did. They were apologizing because they needed something again. I muted the phone. Not blocked. Not ignored. Just muted. Their voices would not be the soundtrack of my healing tonight. Instead, I made myself a bowl of vegetable soup and turned on my favorite jazz station. The soft hum of saxophone filled the air, swirling around my home like a warm embrace. While I ate, my eyes drifted to something sitting on my bookshelf. Notebook. Worn, brown, filled with my handwriting. I pulled it down and opened to the page. I had started the night before. Women worth remembering. Under the first few names, Sharon, Lila. Miss Connie, I added more. Marjorie, who lost her husband and still cooked Sunday meals for neighbors who rarely thanked her. Vera, who raised 3 grandchildren alone because her daughter fell into addiction. Janine, who cleaned houses for 20 years and never took a vacation in her life. I ran my fingers over the list and felt something warm bloom inside me. These women knew what it meant to give without being seen. They knew the ache of invisible sacrifice. They knew the quiet grief of being needed but never cherished. Something in me whispered, maybe it's their turn. I closed the notebook slowly, almost reverently, because a new kind of trip was forming. One built on gratitude, not greed. Tomorrow, I make 6 phone calls that will change everything, including the meaning of family. The next morning, I woke with a feeling I hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. Not the kind that comes from taking care of someone else. Not the kind tied to duty. But the kind that blooms from doing something for your own soul. I made a fresh pot of coffee, opened the curtains wide, and pulled out my worn notebook. My list stared back at me. Women worth remembering. I whispered their names like a gentle roll call. Sharon, Lila. Miss Connie. Marjorie, Vera. Janine, 6 names. 6 women who had poured out love with no applause, no reward, and often no recognition. Women who were always the givers, never the recipients. Today would be different. I picked up the phone and dialed the first number, Sharon, my former coworker from the hospital. She answered on the second ring. Evelyn, everything all right, baby? Yes, I said, letting my voice soften. More than all right. I want to take you somewhere, she chuckled. You mean like lunch? No. Hawaii. Dead silence. Then Hawaii. Where, as if there were more than one. Hawaii. Hawaii. A week. My treat. Her breath caught. Why me? Because someone should remind you you're worth celebrating. She didn't speak again, not because she didn't want to, but because her tears answered for her. Next, I called Lila, a neighbor from 2 streets over who helped care for her disabled brother and hadn't taken a trip in 20 years. She answered in her deep, raspy voice. Evelyn, what trouble you stirring up now? The good kind, I said. Pack a suitcase. We're going to Hawaii. The phone went quiet. Then a soft laugh burst out, roar and disbelieving. You lying? I'm not. You serious? Very, Lord have mercy. She whispered. The third call was Miss Connie, church pianist whose hands shook from arthritis but still played hymns every Sunday, like she was pouring her heart into each key. When I told her she didn't ask why, she simply said, when. And that was that. Then came Marjorie. When she answered, she sounded tired in a way I knew too well. Hello. Hi, Marjorie. It's Evelyn. Oh, hey, honey. I'm a bit overwhelmed today. What do you need? Nothing, I said gently. What do you need? She laughed bitterly. Oh, don't get me started. I took a breath. What if what you need is a week? Sun, ocean, peace. She went completely silent. You deserve rest, Marjorie, I whispered. Her voice trembled. I don't even remember what rest feels like. You will? I said. Start packing. The 5th call Veron nearly broke me. She was folding laundry when I called. I heard the exhaustion in her bones. When I told her the offer, she sobbed so hard she couldn't speak for a full minute. Not because of the trip, but because someone finally saw her. "Evelyn," she whispered, "no one ever does something for me. Ever." "Well, someone is," I said. "Me and the last call Janine who'd spent decades cleaning other people's houses with hardly a day off. When I offered the trip, she said, 'I don't even own a swimsuit.' 'I'll buy you one,' I replied. She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for years. 6 calls. 6 yeses. 6 voices cracked open by the shock of being chosen. As I hung up the final call, my home felt full, not of people, but of something softer. Gratitude, sisterhood, freedom. I walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and began making the bookings. The villa, the flights, the meals. Everything under one name now. Evelyn May Carter. Not because I was funding people who used me, but because I was investing in women who knew the value of grace. As the confirmation emails rolled in one by one, I felt it. This trip wasn't a replacement. It was a beginning. When the 6 women arrive in Hawaii, the ocean won't be the only thing rising. Healing will rise with us. Asterisk, when our plane touched down in Hawaii. The sky looked painted rosy pink sweeping over the horizon. Gold draped on the ocean like someone had brushed sunlight across the waves. The air smelled sweet, like flowers and sea salt. And for the first time in years, I stepped off a plane without the weight of being uninvited, unwanted, or overused. The other women followed behind me, Sharon adjusting her straw hat, Lila fanning herself dramatically, Miss Connie humming a hymn under her breath. Vera clutched her bag close, like she couldn't believe she was here. Marjorie whispered, "It's real. It's real every few steps." And Janine. She twirled once in the warm air, her brand new blue swimsuit tucked proudly into her bag. As we waited for our shuttle, I glanced at them 6 women who had lived through storms of their own, and I felt something uncoil inside me. Not pride, not vengeance, but gratitude. Real, soul-deep gratitude. When we arrived at the villa, Lord, it sat on a hill overlooking the ocean, with glass doors that slid open to a long wooden deck, hammocks swinging in the breeze, and a table set for 7. The air inside felt warm, peaceful, and completely ours. Miss Connie ran her fingers over the piano tucked in the corner and said, "I haven't touched one on vacation in my life." "Then play," I told her. And she did, soft notes drifting through the room like a blessing. We unpacked, then stepped out onto the deck. The sun was setting, a golden fire dipping into the water, making everything glow. Sharon grabbed her phone and said, "We need a group photo." We lined up, arm in arm, and smiled, nod, the tight, polite smiles families give when pretending to get along. Real smiles. Healing smiles. Later that night, after a dinner of grilled fish and coconut rice, we sat around the long wooden table lit by warm string lights. I placed a framed photo of Leonard at the center. The other women didn't question it. They simply nodded, honoring someone they'd never met. "We're lighting candles tonight," I announced softly. "Not for grief, but for release." One by one, I handed each woman a lavender candle. Sharon lit hers first. For every year I forgot myself while holding everyone else together. Lila lit hers next. For rest I never allowed myself to feel. Miss Connie's voice cracked as she whispered, "For the love I kept giving away without saving any for me." Marjorie's flame trembled. "For the pain I hid so no one would worry." Vera wiped her eyes. "For believing I wasn't worthy of peace." Janine pressed her hand to her chest. "For all the places I never thought I'd see." Then it was my turn. I lit my candle and held it close. "For letting go," I whispered. "And for choosing myself before someone else chose to forget me." We carried our candles down to the edge of the ocean. The waves curled around our feet, warm and soft, as if welcoming us. The moon glowed silver on the water. "This," I said gently, "is what family looks like. Not blood, not obligation, choice." The 6 women stood quietly, breathing in the moment. Then, together, we let the candles float onto the surface of the water. The flames drifted out into the dark, tiny stars on the ocean. I didn't think of Derek. I didn't think of Alicia. I didn't think of the trip they tried to take without me. I thought of this moment, of these women, of this new story I was writing, one where I wasn't begging to belong. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt whole. As the night deepened and the candles drifted farther away, I whispered into the waves. I wasn't left behind. I simply found those walking my way. And the ocean answered back with a soft, steady hush, a promise that the healing I'd found here would follow me home. If you want thumbnail text, title, description, SEO tags, or an image prompt for this story, just tell Mai can create them next. Sometimes life takes turns we never expect. Every person in this story carried their own pain, their own choices, and their own consequences. Maybe you saw yourself in one of them, or maybe it reminded you of someone you once knew. What do you think happened next? What would you have done if you were in their place? If you have any questions about what happened to the other characters, or if you want me to share more about them, just comment below. I read every message you leave, and your thoughts truly mean a lot to me. And if this story touched your heart, inspired you, or even made you think differently, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep sharing stories that move people, open minds, and remind us we're all human. At the end of the day, your support keeps these stories alive. Thank you for watching, for feeling, and for being part of this journey. More powerful stories are coming soon. Stay tuned and stay kind.